Hi guys, welcome to the session. Today we are going to discuss chapter 8 from grade 6 CBSE English, and the name of the chapter is A Pact with Sun. The name of the book is also A Pact with Sun. So it's by Zakir Hussain, who translated it from Urdu and slightly modified the text to make it easy for the other person to understand. This chapter is about a girl, Sadia, whose mother was suffering from a lot of ailments for a long time. She was not getting the right treatment. But how they started to believe in the power of nature, how important is it to have fresh air, sunlight. So the entire story revolves around the girl and her mother and how the girl's prayers to the sun help her mother recover from her start. Sadia's mother had been ailing for a long time, fever, cough, body ache, painful joints and whatnot. Treated by a variety of physicians, which means doctor, for weeks, she often showed no signs of improvement, but soon relapsed. Relapse means reverted into her old sick self. One complaint substituted, replaced by another. Though weak and colorless, she was forbidden, not allowed normal food, and was under strict orders to remain perpetually, which means forever, confined, restricted to her small, dingy, dark and dirty room, with doors and windows fastened, which means secure tight. Deprived of sunshine and fresh air. So Sadia's mother was unwell for a long time. She had all those issues related to fever, cough, body ache, painful joints and whatnot. So a lot of physicians and doctors were consulted for weeks, but no improvement was there, and even if improvement happened, that was temporary because the sickness was relapsing. It was coming over and over again. She was so weak, one could see her and understand she was colorless. But still she was not allowed to have normal food and was under strict orders. She was denied healthy food, sunshine, fresh air, nothing. So gradually she was confined into a small dark room that's dirty, where there were no windows. Even if there were, they were closed most of the time, so that no sunshine or fresh air enters it or reached her. When she became critical, her relatives and neighbors persuaded, which means to move someone to believe something, persuaded her to consult a specialist even though his fee was likely to be high. Life is more precious than money, they said. Sadia's mother was poor, but she heeded, paid attention to their advice, and sold a few trinkets, which means pieces of jewelry, to pay the doctor's fee and the cost of medicine. So when her condition didn't improve, it worsened, then her near and dear ones, her relatives, her neighbors, asked her, recommended her to consult a good doctor without caring much about his fees. Because life is more precious. One can always get money back, but one cannot get back the life. So though Sadia's mother was poor, she still paid attention to their words, their advice. In order to arrange money to pay to the doctor, she sold her jewelry so that she gets to pay the doctor's fee, the cost of medicines. The doctor came in a few days and examined her and prescribed effective but costly medicines. To the question as to what she should eat, he said, "Anything you wish to eat, chapati, vegetable, milk, fruits, etc., In addition to all this, he added emphatically, which means clearly, leave the dark hovel, this space, this room, and occupy a bigger room with doors and windows open. Sit in the sun every morning from 8 to 9. Sunshine and fresh air, he concluded, are more important than medicine. So now, a few days later, the doctor came and he checked her and gave her some good, expensive, costly medicines. He advised her to take a good diet which had everything, all the nutrients, chapatis, vegetables, maybe fruits, milk. Not only that, he advised her to consume fresh air and move to a new room, because she happens to live in that room where the sunlight doesn't reach, the air doesn't reach. So it was advised to take a good diet, leave the dark room, live in a bigger room with windows, doors, to take sunlight and fresh air, because definitely that has more value to it as compared to medicines. The doctor and his advice became a subject of noisy commentary among all present. Some favored while others opposed it. Exposure to sun and air for someone afflicted, which means troubled, affected with chronic cough, was dangerous. An experienced lady declared. A young neighbor nearly fought with her over this. Too exhausted to participate in the debate, Saida's mother remained quiet, but determined to follow the doctor's advice. Forget the consequences, she said at last. I'll carry out his instructions to the letter. Move my bed into the next room and let me sit in the sun on my charpai, which means the bed rest, the manji, for an hour daily. So when the doctor visited, there were many people in the room, and everybody in the room then started to comment on his advice. Some were in favor while others were against it. There was an experienced lady who objected to what doctor said. She said this lady who has chronic cough, she should not be exposed to sun because she is suffering from chronic severe cough. On the other hand, one neighbor started fighting over the same. So Sadia's mother was observing all this but didn't have the energy to participate or take a position. So she decided to keep quiet. And also decided to go ahead with doctor's advice. Whatever the result might be, she was determined to follow the doctor's words. So she asked them to move her to the next room, and also that she should be allowed to sit in the sun for an hour daily. It so happened that the sky remained overcast next morning. The same was the case the next day. Sadia's mother was dejected, which means she was feeling bad, depressed, sad. So she muttered, which means she whispered, "O Lord of mine, why have you ordered the sun to remain hidden? How will I ever be cured?" Now when she decided to sit out in the sun for an hour and follow doctor's advice, there was no sun. It was cloudy. There was overcast. Not only the next day, but for a couple of days this happened. And then she whispered in her mouth. She prayed to the god, asked the god, "Where is the sun? However I be cured, please do something." Sadia was playing with her doll nearby, and she heard her mother's lament, which means complaint, and kept calm. Later in the afternoon, she stumbled, which means when you lose your balance, you kind of fall, like how this lady is about to fall. Look at her. She stumbled on the pale sunshine. Pale sunshine means dim sunshine in the courtyard, which means the enclosure. She ran to her mother to say the sun was there. "No, no," said everybody present. "It's too late and chilly. Your mother can't sit out there." Disheartened, Sadia returned to her doll. There was no sun really, except for its last remnant remains entangled, which means twisted together in the top branches of the family mango tree. And when Sadia's mother was praying to God, talking to God, Sadia was playing near her mother. She was playing with her doll. So she heard her words, but didn't do anything, didn't react. Now later in that day, like in the afternoon, she was out there in the courtyard in the enclosure, and she happened to lose her balance, and she fell at a spot where there was dim sunshine. So she ran back to her mother to ask her to be there. But then everybody opposed. Everyone said no. Everyone stopped her. As it was late evening, it was getting cold. And Sadia was so disappointed. She couldn't do much. So she returned to her doll. And she did observe that there was no sun, except for few last remnants of sun rays that were there, that were entangled, that were twisted together, that could be seen at the top branches of the mango tree. Because of its height, one could see, but the rays weren't there on the ground. So that's all for the session. In case you liked it, please do let me know. Thank you.